Alright guys, so today we have a few interesting pieces of information that I wanted to bring to you. I think you guys will certainly find it fascinating. The first has to do with Death Stranding, and this isn't necessarily new information, but I basically just want to let you guys know, if you don't know, that there is a new trailer out that focuses on one of the main characters, that being Hartman, and it's about 2.5 minutes long. I will have it playing in the background here, but it's a very dialogue heavy trailer, so I'll actually also insert it at the end of this video. If you haven't caught it and you haven't seen it yet, just stay tuned until the end and you can watch it right here. But Hartman is an interesting character because apparently he passes away every 21 minutes, and he actually goes to the other side for about 3 minutes where he tries to search for his family. And then I believe he gets revived after those 3 minutes by a machine on his chest. So that makes for a very interesting character, in my opinion, at least in terms of, trying to figure out what role he's going to play. Clearly, he's going to play a very important role within Death Stranding. But I wanted to take a minute to talk about this because I can tell you that as somebody who's very excited for Death Stranding and somebody who is a big Metal Gear Solid fan, I kind of got flashbacks when watching this trailer. Between the dialogue with Sam and Hartman, it really brought me back to the dialogue that we would get between Solid Snake and Otacon. I was just really getting those vibes, and I was really feeling the tone, that signature Hideo Kojima tone that he injects within the cutscenes and the dialogue and between characters within his games, and it really did a good job in getting me even more excited. And I totally understand that there's people out there who are currently very much on the fence with Death Stranding because they feel as though they need to see more gameplay before they can truly feel excited for it. Totally understandable. Everything I've seen so far has me incredibly excited. I personally think it's going to be a masterpiece, and I think there's a very good chance it's going to win Game of the Year 2019. That's just my prediction anyway. That's my hope because I have very high expectations for it. And everybody who's seen the game so far has had nothing but really, really positive things to say about it. At the very least, I think something we can all agree on is that what Kojima is doing with Death Stranding is extremely unique. He's striving to do something different. He's not trying to do the easy thing. I think he recently went on record kind of taking shots at the Battle Royale genre, saying he could have done that if he wanted to make easy money, but that's not really what his goal is. He wants something that's a little bit, harder to, I think as he put it, harder to digest, something that's really going to make you think, something that's going to stick with you and kind of linger in your mind after you experience it, and something that maybe you want to go back to and really fully dissect. So I can fully respect that, and I can also fully appreciate that because we need more of that within this industry, honestly. So yeah, new trailer has me excited. Can't wait for Death Stranding. The next thing I want to talk about I also find very interesting, and it has to do with Phil Spencer apparently going on record admitting that Microsoft's first-party output has been weak this generation. So it says that in a lengthy and surprisingly frank interview with Fortune, Spencer talked about various aspects of Microsoft's gaming business. When it came to the first-party output over the last few years, he was pretty blunt in saying that it's just not been the best, and that it's something they need to strive to do better in. So he's quoted with saying, "And I think the power of content, I see it every day. The things that people come to Xbox for. Very few people turn on their Xboxes to stare at the dashboard. People turn on their Xbox to go play games, and I think us having a strong first-party Xbox means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do to get there. We haven't done our best work over the last few years with our first-party output." So I know I'm really hard on Xbox, and I know that honestly I upset a lot of Xbox fans and Xbox owners because I can be pretty harsh at times, and there's been a lot of people who let me know that I seem to take a lot of time to talk about Xbox even though I claim not to care about it. But that's the thing. I may not necessarily be very interested in what Xbox is doing and what they've been doing for a little while now, and I may not have a lot of faith, or pretty much any at all if I'm being honest, and I may not have a lot of hope. But at the same time, that doesn't mean there isn't any at all. You know, I say it in all of my videos when I talk about Xbox that I just really want them to do better, because the truth of the matter is this: they can do better. They can. They can do a lot better than what they're doing. And so I know that there's some people who really hold on to that and firmly believe that because they can do better, they will do better. It's pretty much guaranteed. I can't share that same mindset, if I'm being completely honest. You know, I know we kind of get involved in the console wars sometimes, and we poke fun, and we just have a little bit of fun here. You know what I mean? It's not that serious. It's video games. At the end of the day, we're all part of this because we love video games, and we just want to experience great games. And I know that there's a lot of people who don't have any respect for me because of some of the content I make, but I will try my best to be a little bit positive here and say, you know what? I'm glad that Phil Spencer is going on record saying this, because I would much rather hear him come out here and say, look, we can do better. We haven't been doing very good, and we need to focus on doing better. I would much rather hear him come out and say that and acknowledge it than hear him come out here and damage control and talk about all the things they do have and how everything they are doing is fine and it's great. And I guess I just hope that it's not in vain, right? Like, I hope he's not just saying this to save face or whatever, because it seems like that's what Phil Spencer does a lot, if I'm being honest. You know, I can only assume that he's saying this because he's aware that things are going to have to change with Project Scarlet going into next generation. And all I truly want is for him to, you know, to admit this, which is the first step. That's why I see it as a positive thing. You have to admit it. You have to acknowledge it. And he's acknowledging that things are not that great right now and that they could certainly get better. And so here is, I guess, hoping that going forward, things do get better. You know, I just want a really exciting reason to turn my Xbox on and to just feel like there's something truly there that gets me as excited as I feel about games like Death Stranding, about games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, and even the games that I can assume we're going to be getting with the PlayStation 5, sequels to games like God of War and Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn. I just want there to be games that get me excited on that level at this point. And that's really, you know, that's going to be up to Phil and his team and how he wants to continue to do things going forward. But I'm glad he's out here admitting it, and I thought it was really important to highlight this because, you know what, I made a video, somewhat of a rant video, kind of poking fun at Xbox and their you know, hardcore fans, and really asking the question, how can any hardcore gamer really have any faith in Xbox going forward? Well, I can admit this. Phil Spencer acknowledging this, okay, I'll give him that. You know, this is a good thing. That's a positive thing. Admit that things could be better, and they can be better, and with that mentality going forward, maybe they ultimately will get better. And moving on from that, the final thing I want to take a minute here to talk about has to do with the PS4 apparently being the third fastest selling console in the US. It says Matt Piscatella of the NPD Group has just shared that the PS4 is the third fastest selling console in the US, behind the Wii and PS2. Piscatella described the data as time aligned, which means that it compares products over the same number of months for sale. It makes for a more fair comparison across the products. This means that the PS4 is measuring its first 68 months against the first 68 months of each of the other consoles it's being compared to. The PS4 released in 2013 and has shipped nearly 100 million units as of April 2019. In fact, in the 3 months since that report, it has likely crossed that 100 million mark. It currently sits at number 6 on the best-selling console list of all time, behind the Wii at 101 million, the original PlayStation at 102 million, the Game Boy at 118 million, the Nintendo DS at 154 million, and the PlayStation 2 sitting at 155 million. Many are estimating that the PS4 will cap off at the number 3 spot just behind the Nintendo DS. So this is extremely impressive, and it's worth taking a moment here to, you know, celebrate the fact that the PlayStation is really out here proving, and not just PlayStation, but the Nintendo Switch, and, you know, even to a small extent, the people who have invested in the Xbox console. It's out here proving, though, with these numbers, that the demand for console gaming is still here, and it doesn't look like it's going to go away anytime soon. And that's something that really I can get behind, because that's how I like to consume my games. It's how I've played my games growing up, and it's just a convenient streamlined way of doing so, and I just like it. You know, I like sitting on the sofa or in the recliner with the controller in hand, big screen TV, and just enjoying my games that way. And you know, we always hear talk as every new generation approaches that, oh, it's going to end. You know, nobody wants consoles anymore. Consoles are going to go away, and maybe one day they won't exist. But I feel like that day is really, really, really far off from now. I think it's going to be a very long time. I think the demand is still here. I think the demand is still strong. Seeing that the PS4 is going to surpass 100 million if it hasn't already, and potentially end up as the third best-selling console of all time, that's extremely impressive when you look at the numbers that the PlayStation 2 and the DS have done. If the PS4 can even be anywhere near that, that's great. That's honestly great, and it is also just really impressive once again to see that the PS4 is, as of right now, the third best-selling console ever within the US. So really good stuff there. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Again, I thought that some of this stuff was very interesting, especially when it comes to what Phil Spencer had to say and when we talk about the PlayStation 4 sales. Good stuff there. Good stuff all around. So at this point, I'm going to ask you to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. It really helps out and it lets me know you guys are enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
No luck. Visit 218,550. Oh, sorry. Where were we? I may be used to the 21-minute cycle, but for a first-time face-to-face meeting, there's just too much to cover in one go-around.
Can't be easy living like this.
Yes. And no. Now that I'm acclimated to it, it isn't especially, onerous. Defecation, ablution, nutrition. Most of life's basic functions fit rather easily into a 21-minute time slot. Sleep is the tricky one. And intercourse, I suppose. Verbal or physical. Not that someone in my position has to worry much about either. Do you read, Sam? Listen to music. Watch films? You know, I keep busy. I have a collection of music, television shows, some very interesting short films, and stories. Everything consumable within a 21-minute window. All from before the Death Stranding, of course. But honestly, the 21 minutes I spend here, all downtime. Nothing more. Time spent waiting to go back to the search. My body may be present, but my soul is on the beach. I'm already dead.
PlayStation